So you're considering starting something new in work or life. You are an all or nothing type of girl. If you're going to do it, you're going to go all in, or you're not going to attempt it at all. Because when you do something, you do it big. And in some ways, that's been a gift because, like, wow, you have created and achieved a lot. And what you've done, it's been pretty epic. But in some ways, the patterns that have been previously helpful to you have now become harmful. So maybe that drive to succeed is eating into time with your family. Or maybe your desire for perfection is consuming an embarrassing amount of time and brain space. Or maybe in your quest to support the people around you, you are running on fumes and it's starting to show. So if that sounds like you are in the right space. Let's talk about how to overcome the all or nothing mentality and why that matters. And want to welcome you here. I'm Alexandra Cavill. I'm a certified professional coach and the founder of Grace-Based Christian Coaching, where I'll serve ambitious women in leadership who are struggling with limiting beliefs and overwhelm and desire to create a more intentional and Christ-centered life. Okay, so first, as we think about all or nothing, what makes this worth focusing on? Giving up your perfectionism and going to God. So think about if you keep going, if you're an all or nothing kind of gal through and through, what is at stake? Think about that, write that down. What's at stake if you keep operating in this space? What may never come to fruition or receive the attention that it deserves because you are consumed with being perfect? And although it's uncomfortable to think about, you may have been missing out on so much. And consider, sometimes it takes pain and discomfort for us to make a change. So think about all that has been neglected and just take a moment to be honest about that. What's been left to the side in the name of perfection? And when we even think about this, right, achieving perfection, is that even possible? The Bible says we all fall short of the glory of God. That's Romans 3:23. Yet it makes sense that we crave perfection, doesn't it? Because we were created with the Garden of Eden in mind. We were created with perfection in mind, but it's simply not something we'll experience until we reach heaven and we get to be with Jesus for eternity. A few years ago, the Lord gave me a really sweet download one day. Jesus is the only perfection we need. So what if when that craving for perfection plagued you, what if you saw it as an invitation to connect with your Creator? We were each designed with a God-sized hole that only He can fill. So what if instead of operating in fierce independence, you rejoiced in your dependency on God? What if you got so excited about doing something outside of your comfort zone, something you could not accomplish in your own strength because it afforded you the opportunity to rely on Jesus? What if you saw the gray, the messy middle that you try so desperately to avoid, as not something to push away, but to embrace because it meant a closer walk with God? What if playing in the messy middle was the pathway to a depth of connection with God unlike anything that you've ever experienced? Whose lives might be impacted because you decided to trust God instead of rely on your own strength? What if fulfillment was no longer found in going all in on your achievement, but fulfillment was found on going all in with God and trusting that He would provide? What if you got started today? So take a second, pull out a pen and paper or your phone note, and list out 3 things that you have been avoiding, unsure of, or haven't fully explored because you assumed that all or nothing was your only possible approach. So pray about this. Ask God what He wants you to know. about each of these areas that you've listed out here. Ask him, what is one step that you may take in each of these spaces that ultimately will glorify him? Then move forward with joy, conviction, and confidence that Jesus is the one who will see it through his way. His ways are so much higher and so much better than our own. As one of my favorite authors, Gretchen Sapples, shares, success is obedience over outcome. So a few other thoughts to support you in your endeavor from black and white. So it's a visual right here. When you operate out of your own strength, really, you are operating in black and white. But when you do it led by the Lord, you operate in color, if you will, because there's a vibrancy, there's a delight, and there's joy that becomes available that wasn't there before. Another is think about how you operate as an experiment. I love this one so much. So with whatever you're doing, it's a win or a learn, not a win or a lose. There's something that you can always take away or take from it, whether you're, quote, successful or not. And that's empowering, isn't it? When you're tempted to cling to this all or nothing mentality, ask yourself, am I more focused on my ability or on God's? That's powerful, isn't it? What would it look like to shift your eyes from yourself and onto Him? Because it's time to place your confidence and your trust in God, Alpha and Omega, creator of heavens and earth. And then last but not least, His power is made perfect in weakness. So when you attempt something that feels impossible, utterly impossible in your own strength, consider it an opportunity, a prime chance to give Him all the glory and honor. Point to Christ and recognize that He is the one who made this all possible, and see what you're doing becomes something that draws people in and becomes so much bigger than yourself. Let God be known and magnified because you bravely chose to operate in the gray. That is success, shifting from based on me to based on Him. This brings lightness. It brings hope. It brings fun, amen? And so if today's conversation blessed you, be sure to subscribe for more action-oriented tips, wisdom on how to grow and work in life grounded by God. And if you really love what you're hearing, please take a second, screenshot, and share this episode with a friend or a business BFF. And if you deeply crave a more intentional Christ-centered life and want to be poured into in a way that works, I'd love to personally invite you to navigate to gracebasedchristiancoaching.com/coaching. If you're really ready to let go of the overwhelm and doubt and be supported through one-on-one faith-based coaching, I'd love to invite you to apply for a clarity call and see if this is a fit for you. Be sure to subscribe to grow in God, in your work, in your faith, and I look forward already to seeing you here next time.